And as you know, to reduce the pressure in the bank branches, we have already announced separate queues to be formed for account-related transactions, for exchange of cash, and a separate queue for senior citizens and Divyang persons. Now, to popularize that even further, to sort of, as a measure of, one more step in that direction, we have been trying to analyze what has been the reason for the long queues. And it has come to the notice of the government that in many places, the same people are coming back again and again. And we have also received reports that certain unscrupulous elements who are trying to convert their black money into white have organized groups of innocent people and are sending them from one branch to another branch and to a next branch to exchange notes and get this 4,000 rupees, and now it is 4,500 rupees. So you find the same people coming back again and again. As a result, what is happening is that the benefit, the facility of withdrawal of cash is getting restricted to a smaller number of people, because when the same people come again and again, it denies the opportunity to another person or to other persons who have not been able to reach the counter or reach the ATM to get the cash. To prevent such kind of misuse, it has been decided that government would the branches of banks would take resort to use of indelible ink marks for disbursement of cash across counters, that is over the counter exchange of cash of old 500 rupee notes and 1000 rupee notes for new notes.
What does that mean?
So indelible ink, which is just as it is used during election, the voter ID, just as when you cast your vote and there is an indelible ink mark which is put. So it has been decided to use that facility. This suggestion has been, let me complete. Please let me complete. It breaks the thought, please. So this suggestion was considered earlier internally, but we thought we will not take resort to this measure. But then it was found that the queues are not becoming shorter and the same people are coming back again and again for multiple withdrawals. So therefore, indelible ink will be used to prevent misuse of these facilities, to prevent certain syndicates and certain unscrupulous influential persons from using this facility, and by from using innocent people for such multiple types of exchange of cash. The bank managers and the bank branches have also been advised to keep close watch on this kind of persons and to prevent that from happening, and also for the benefit of public and to extend the wider reach, the cash availability with the branch post offices and the district central cooperative banks have also been enhanced. The requirements of the district central cooperative banks and the branch post offices. The branch post offices, as you know, as I mentioned yesterday, are 1.3 lakh branch post offices, and today they are getting cash, and they should be able to meet the requirement of large section of people in the rural areas. We are also encouraging and impressing upon the places of religious worship which receive cash donations from devotees, most of it being in smaller denominations. We are encouraging such places of worship, the trusts concerned or the people who are in charge, to immediately deposit these notes of smaller denominations with the local bank branches, because then what it will ensure is that larger number of smaller denomination notes comes into the banking system and it can be dispensed to the various customers. This is another decision which has been taken. The next point I would like to mention is that it has also come to the notice of the government that in many cases, or rather in several cases, the Jan Dhan accounts have been used to deposit money. So a close watch is being kept on the cash deposits into the Jan Dhan accounts. Let me make it very clear. Any legitimate deposit into the Jan Dhan account obviously will not, the person concerned will not be put to any inconvenience. The Jan Dhan account holders who are doing who are legitimately operating their accounts will not be put to any kind of difficulty. I would take this opportunity to appeal to all the Jan Dhan account holders not to allow themselves to be used by other people for putting their money into these accounts. And I would appeal to them not to allow themselves to, allow themselves to be used by other people to convert their black money into white. So a very close monitoring and a close monitoring of the Jan Dhan account deposits are also being undertaken. And in any case, once the money is kept in the Jan Dhan account, we know which account it has come, and then once we verify, we will know exactly what is the position. Further to ease the pressure on the banks and the bank branches and the post offices, because many of them are holding now large quantum of old notes. So, a sort of a task force has been set up which will draw up a plan of action for shifting of the old notes, shifting and storing of the old notes in other places, so that the post offices and the branches are able to receive new notes. A special task force is also being set up to keep watch on infusion of fake Indian currency notes, especially in the vulnerable areas. The vulnerable areas have been identified by the agencies, and there will be a high-level special task force which will monitor the cash movements and the cash infusion in such vulnerable areas to check any possibility of injection of fake Indian currency into the system. The same task force will also keep a close watch on black money being deposited in the banking system. And the agencies have been advised to do their very, very close monitoring. A technology team is being constituted to popularize the use of e-wallets and to activate the recalibration of the ATMs and to see that the ATMs are activated as early as possible. While all these steps are being taken by the government to ensure that the new notes are made available to the members of the public with least amount of inconvenience, at the same time there have been reports that there are reports that there are based on certain speculative stories, certain commodities, like for example 2 days suddenly there was a scarcity of salt and the salt prices went up. The point is, we have enough stock of salt, and the demand, compared to the demand for salt in our country, the stock of salt is far in excess. So there was absolutely no reason for that temporary shortage or the temporary price spurt to happen. But it happened because of some unscrupulous elements spreading rumors. At the same time, government is very keen to see that the supply of essential commodities is maintained. So the supply of essential commodities is being very closely monitored. The Cabinet Secretary is heading a group of secretaries and other senior officers to monitor the supply of the movement and supply and the availability of essential commodities across the country. The Cabinet Secretary will also head a coordination group and the coordination group will include senior representatives of banks, and this coordination group will monitor the implementation of all the measures which I have mentioned today, and also many of the measures which were announced in the last 2 or 3 days. The last point I would like to mention is that there are lots of false stories being spread in the social media. The same stories keep coming back. There was a report of certain institutions going on strike, having given a strike notice, if you enlarge the photograph on your, on your smartphone, we found that the year was 2015. Now, on notice or a poster which somebody was holding in 2015, the photograph is being circulated in the social media to say that so-and-so institution, the employees are going on strike. There is no such thing. So I appeal to everyone, to all of you, not to believe the kind of stories which are circulated in the social media. There are also stories that in certain places the bank branches were closed down and some notes were exchanged, and there has been no such report, there has been no such incident to the best of our knowledge. So therefore I would appeal to all of you not to believe in those kind of stories, because that unnecessarily creates panic, and it's not a desirable thing that should happen. And there is, once again, I would like to mention that there is enough quantity, there is enough stock of notes available in the system, and there is absolutely no reason for panic. The government will continue to monitor the situation on a continuous basis, very, very proactively, and whatever steps are required to ease the pressure, to ease the inconvenience of the public, which they have experienced in the last 2-3 days, which have, again, as I mentioned, got compounded because of certain people coming back again and again. So the situation will be continuously monitored, not only the supply of cash, but also the availability of essential commodities. The all other aspects of the economy will be kept in will be constantly monitored. There is enough cash available. I repeat myself, there is enough cash available, and there is no reason for any kind of panic. Thank you.
इंक वाले मुद्दे पर दो मुद्दा है कि कैसे आप पहचानेंगे कि इंक के निशान जो लगाए गए हैं वो आज के हैं और कल के हैं। मान लिया हमने 2000 रुपए एक्सचेंज किए, तो क्या हम अगली बार सेम डे में, क्योंकि 4500 कैप है,
वो ऑपरेटिंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस बैंकों को दिया जाएगा, वो कैसे उसको हैंडल किया जाएगा, वो ऑपरेटिंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस हम बैंक्स को दे देंगे। लेकिन उसको आप जो कह रहे हैं कि वो आज जा रहा है फिर कल जा रहा है, उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए वो हम ऑपरेशनल इंस्ट्रक्शंस दे देंगे।